All righty, we are here for our Sunday night charting and training. It feels like it's been a while since we did this, even though I think it was only like a week. Last weekend I was traveling, but the week before that we did this, right? I don't think I'm sharing my screen. There we go. We did this the week before that, but it feels like it's been a while. Feels like it's been a minute. Maybe because it feels like so much is going on in my world. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We're getting ready to start school tomorrow. I'm going to be going back into class. I've got two classes to teach on each day. I'll teach two classes on Monday and Wednesday, and two classes on Tuesday, Thursday. And then there's another class in there, that whole step back class. We talked about it on Friday a little bit. I got to put that in there somewhere, and I'm thinking it's going to fit right in that 1:30 to 2:30 window, which is not where I really want it because I'm already going to have a hard enough time fitting in where am I going to where is I'm going to trade. But we're definitely going to get it figured out cuz that's what we do. We still trade. That's what we really do. That's what we really do is trade. Let me go put SPX on this screen. Anybody want to talk about anything from last week? Do we have any questions? Do we have any comments? Do we have any clarifications we need? What's up? Anything? We had a few rough days last week. I had a couple of red days last week. That was not appealing. My August is not off to the start I wanted it to be off to. Um, I'm taking it in stride, but it is not going the way I wanted it to be going off to a start, but it's still going, which is a plus, right? It's still a plus. It's still going. Um, I never like it when it doesn't go well, but I think too, it was OpEx week. It's so many things. It's like we don't want to not trade during the different times. Like you don't want to say, I'm not trading during that. But also we want to be wise with when we trade because I think TJ was talking about how she has some days she doesn't, and then somebody else was talking about on certain days they don't. I know OPEX Day, I mentioned that on our YouTube video, that OPEX Day may be a day we decide we don't trade. We just may want to think about um the get to trade versus have to trades. Just I think it's a personal. I know, not I think. I know it's a personal decision. I just think we have to. It's hard though because it feels like the day when I'm not trading, it feels like the days just drag. Like if I'm not gonna trade that day, it's like the day just drags on, and I'll keep looking at the chart like I should be doing something during this day because this is usually when I would be trading. So that's something we have to contend with. But we also want to be, maybe some days you just trade lighter than others. Maybe you have days or times when you are, when you decide I'm going to put on a heavier trade versus lighter. Now, one thing that I was thinking about the other day was the time of day. And let's talk this a little bit now that I'm walking myself right into the topic. The time of day that we trade. Now, some of us really like mornings. Some of us really like trading in the mornings because it may be, we see that opening range breakout. Does that give us what we're looking for? That kind of thing. Others of us would rather wait to the afternoon. I want you to know that if you decide you're going to do mornings, if you decide you're going to do mornings, you're going to need to have your close it up plan. You really need to have a close it up plan. What do I mean by that? You need to have, are you going to PDT hack it? Are you going to just are you going to just open and close? Like are you going to pay to close it? I'm looking down because I'm looking for the one I posted this morning that said The overall times of the week. Trying to think where I see where I put it. Why is it not popping up? That said, I see that even if you like the mornings, there's some times in the mornings to work with. I don't even see it now. I posted it today. Okay, let me find it because now I feel like I gotta find it.
Hey coach, how you doing? It's
Hey,
TJ.
honey. Hey, TJ.
Hey, while you looking for that, I got a quick question.
Mhm,
I like the mornings because I can get in and get out, and I feel
mhm.
like my pack to close, I can buy it for something. And what I mean by that is I
Yeah.
was at the airport Thursday and it was like 1 o'clock, right? And the
Hmm.
market closed at 3 my time. So I looked at the option chain and I saw some premium, but if I got in it to hack it out, that money has been gone. Like, am I making
Hmm.
sense? Okay, to hack out for a loss, it's like, ooh, I would have really been losing in the afternoon. I feel like if I do it in the afternoon, I can't PDT hack it out, or can I? Because
Hmm.
that buy it back price is already low. It was like
Very
75
true.
cents and stuff. And I
Hmm.
was like, no,
Hmm. That's a good point.
afternoons.
That's a good point you're making.
Mhm.
So, what I was saying, if you're doing the morning, you do need to have some kind of exit. You need to have a plan to whether PDT hack it or buy the close. Generally, if you're waiting to the afternoon, the prevailing thought in the afternoon can be, and it doesn't have to be all the time, but your afternoon thought can be, I'm trading in the afternoon with the thought that I will let this go to expiration, or I will let it go. I have maybe a smaller profit target in mind, so I may be taking in less money and I'm actually going to close it for, maybe I'm in the afternoon and I'm going to hack it for 30, 35 or 40. Maybe you're not trying to get as much money if you're entering in the afternoon for the same reason why TJ is saying. So if you're going to close it, you're planning to close it for less money, or you're planning to let it ride to expiration. All right. So that's a difference. Morning, you're probably gonna take in more premiums because there's more premium, there's more meat on the bones in the morning, but you're planning to hack out of it. You're not necessarily planning to ride a morning trade all the way to 4 o'clock. Your nerves, yeah. Well, okay. So if you're doing a morning, you're thinking, I'm gonna end into this trade in the morning, I'm gonna hack out, or I'm going to use my I'm gonna use a PDT hack, or I'm gonna just buy to close, right? Let me put this note right here so that people know that we're on Zoom for weekly charting. I'm gonna finish what I was saying. So if you're doing the afternoon, though, your thoughts are more or less that you're either going to let it go all the way to expiration, or you're going to hack it for less. Like for me, if I enter when I enter, because I enter a lot of for when I enter at the 12:55 time, my thoughts are that I'm going to enter at 12:55 and I'm going to go to expiration with that. That's my thoughts. If I'm entering at 12:55 or later, I'm planning to ride that till 4 o'clock. That's my desire. My desire is to ride it till 4 o'clock. Now I may still lock it because I'm also of the mind that I want to lock every trade as well. So I may lock it at a 495. If it gets to, I can PDT hack and I can do that. I may do that as well. But I would like to, at a 1255 trade, I would like to ride that all the way to expiration. So those are the differences between those two. And there are some people along the way. I think we have Wade who does this, and maybe Curtis who gets in with more contracts. I think I maybe even saw either Julie did it and some other people who get in for more contracts, and then they take 25, 30, $40 and they close it right back up. They get in, ride a trend and close it back up until they may do multiples along the day as well. More contracts, take in less, they may take in and go, I mean, keep. So they're locking with a PDT hack, they're locking in smaller profits, but they're using higher amounts of contracts. So if you lock, if you do you take in 50 or 60, $70 and you PDT hack it for 40, but you have 5 contracts, that's $200. And you haven't planned to ride that all the way to expiration. So that's going to take more collateral. So that's the trade-off there is are you putting on more you're putting more collateral up and you really want to in those cases you want to be ready to ride with the trend. So there's, you're looking at the chart in front of us, and there's times when the trend has presented itself to us, where we've got where we rolled, you may have ridden this one down. Maybe you did a call credit spread and you rolled this one down for 30, 40, or $50. And then when the trend reversed, you got some tweezers here. When this trend reversed, you rolled this one back up for another 30 or $40, right? So you rolled it back up. Maybe you decided if you wanted one more pull, this would be a risky one. You're at about 2 o'clock, 2 or 2:10. You also maybe you did another call credit spread here and you got some juice off of this last little run going back down. This definitely would require watching all day, which I know TJ, you're not going to watch all day. TJ's going to get her money in the morning and TJ's going on about the job that pays her and going on about her day. But there are other people who going to trade all day long. Who gonna be all in there? Curtis, well, I have overtraded. I'm leaving. I'm going there. You got these Curtis and wait. I've overtraded. I'm leaving. Um, some of us just wait until the afternoon till we get a break in the action in order to trade a different time. It's a good thing is that SPX offers some juice. It offers some meat for all of us to eat off of. Really comes down to but the whole point I want to make is that whichever time frame you decide to use, you need to have a good entry plan and you need to have what is your exit plan? What is your exit plan? Right? So you want to what I'm getting in, ride the trend. I'm either going to PDT hack it, I'm going to let it ride till the wheels fall off. I'm buying to close if I want to use a day trade or if my account's big enough where that doesn't matter, or I'm waiting to the afternoon and I'm riding into the sunset, whatever that happens to be, or I'm catching some what's called scalps. I'm taking some scalps along the way. I'm going to open and close along the way, whichever it is. Definitely have an exit plan in mind as well, not just an entry, but have the exit plan too. Okay, that was a long answer to your question, TJ, but I hope that explains stuff.
Yes, it did. Thank you, Coach. Yes.
Yay, yay. Anybody else? Don't like it when we take losses. Is that Rhonda in the chat? I sent you a message, girlfriend.
Hi,
Hey, girly, how you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I hadn't heard your voice in a while. I was wondering if you and Mama was okay.
Is she home right here in front of me? So we good.
All righty, all right. Tell Mama I asked about her.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else? I want to believe, and I'd like to believe that the educator in me wants to believe that y'all are growing in here, that y'all are growing in these parts, that we're getting more confident, we're getting more sure. And I know sometimes we still don't feel as sure. I want you to also feel that you can reach out and ask questions, even if the chat is quiet. I know that we had some quiet days in the chat last week. Even if the chat is quiet, that doesn't mean you need to be quiet. If you've got questions to ask them. Whether I answer or someone else does, you can ask any question it is you want, and there's never too many. I was on a call with somebody who was on a one-on-one, was like, I think I'm gonna ask too many questions. You're not, because if you're asking questions, that's gonna let me know that there's areas that I need to clarify or areas where there may be some misunderstanding, and I want to make sure that we've got understanding. I see Will says I'm growing slowly but surely. There we go. It's steady. As long as we're growing steady, we're good. I continue to post those gamma charts. If you're looking at gamma charts and you still don't know what we're looking at, you need to raise your hand and be like, "Where I don't get gamma charts." So I can send you the video that you can watch, because once you watch the video, then you can ask more questions, right? So I'm not just going to answer your question with the video, but once you listen to the and watch the video, that's going to answer some of your questions, and then you may have more questions, and then you'll feel more confident in asking your questions because you're going to have more knowledge. Because sometimes we don't know what to ask because you're like, I don't know enough to ask a question. You don't know what you don't know. So you're like, I can't really ask a question because I don't know what I don't know yet. Okay. So, but feel free to ask all the questions you need to ask. All right. I wanted to talk before did anybody else have anything they wanted to say before I move forward?
Yeah,
Questions?
Coach. Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry. This is TJ again.
That's all right.
Okay, so I'm getting a little sassy
Okay, here
because
we go.
because let me tell you why, Coach. Because the Magic 8 Ball is a lagging indicator. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is fair
So
to say. That is fair to
okay.
say.
So let me turn my camera on because
Okay.
let me tell you something, Coach. Let me tell you something.
Uh,
I'm trying to get $1. Like I'm getting sassy with it. Like
okay.
now I'm like, now I don't want no $70 premium. I want
Okay.
at least 80 to 90.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to be like, okay, if this indicator is lagging, it's
Yes.
lagging. So that
Mhm.
means price maybe could have already left me. It could have.
Right. Right.
So if you were me, coach, do I get the next option chain? Because I still want to bring in, like, I feel like I need to bring in, like, I done got sassy. Like 70 now, I'm too good for 70. Who do 70? Not me, boo. Not me, boo. But I do 70, But I'm just trying to be a little sassy because I want more. I don't know, coach. Like, I
Yeah.
need more. I need like $1.
Yeah.
Like, if sometimes you get that 95 cents and I'll
Yeah.
be wanting to chase it. So, do I
Yeah.
just stick with the Magic 8 Ball until I
Yeah.
get like a little bit more comfortable, or what you think?
So Toki says she always adds 10. I feel like if you, for
Oh,
let's say for example, okay, so Miss Marsh, I see your
oh,
hand. So for example, if you're looking here, sometimes the price will have turned around and Magic 8 Ball is still giving us puts, but the price has turned around, or it's still giving us calls, but the price don't turned around. And
right,
it's starting to back up some, but it hasn't switched to puts yet. So let's say for example, if we were looking at this day right here, I'm gonna look at this, all this right here. That's what, if we're using this as an example, right?
hmm
Magic 8 Ball would probably be giving us call credit spreads going down. It probably would, right?
hmm
And then when we get to here, when you see this hard reversal right here, this is a clear reversal, right? This is
hmm
where you, as a person who knows how to chart, Magic 8 Ball is not looking at this chart. I mean, per se, it's taking in a lot of data, but it's not taking in this per se. You can see that this has turned around, which is what, when I start giving y'all different things that is opposite from what you see on Magic 8 Ball, it's because I've looked at the chart. I'm looking at the chart and see that a reversal is in the work. Right.
hmm
So
hmm
Magic 8 Ball may still be giving you call credit spread, for a little while until this moves back up. And it might have kept, I think it might have kept giving, I think on Friday it actually kept flipping back and forth a little bit. But the point is, once you see a reversal here, you can, because you're looking at the chart and you see what you're going with, um you need to, because you're looking at the chart, you got your VWAP going, you've got some things that you know to look at to determine, is price going to bounce from here, is price going to, um what do I think it's going to keep going down from here, do I think it's going to, continue from here or whatever. Then
hmm
you use those things that you've learned to determine what you want. So I'm going to show you, like here, this is a good example, because your question is, should you go for the 95 or $1, and should you pick a different strike? So then
hmm
what Magic 8 Ball says. So let's say you up in here. Magic 8 Ball might have been given, let's say it was given 64, because it stayed around the same place. Let's say it's given 64, 75, 80 in this area. Let's say it was given that. All this
hmm
time it's given that. Well, price comes down and it's come down, but now it bounces back up. Well, you can see once it gets back to this VWAP, because this is VWAP in here. Once it gets to VWAP, if your thought is that it's probably gonna bounce off VWAP and go back down, then as soon as it does this bounce thing, you could get something a little bit closer, because you know, because you're looking at the chart, you can say, well, I believe that 64, 70, 75, and I'm just picking some numbers, is still above where we are. You say, okay, I believe 64, 70, 75 is probably better. It's going to give you more money. You can say, this is probably okay because I believe price is going to bounce off VWAP. And it did. It hits VWAP and then it goes back down. Now, it would have gotten a little nervous when it comes back up here because
hmm
we're at 64, but you still got 70, 75, and 70, 75 is really up here. right? So it's
Mhm.
really not at your strike. And by then you would have been gone anyway because you would have gotten your PDT money and been gone. But
Okay.
but I'm saying that you could have gotten, because price was getting closer to your strikes, you would have gotten more money. You would have taken in more premiums in this area here because price was coming back towards you. When price is coming towards your strikes, you're going to get better premiums. And because if you're looking at this chart and saying, okay, I'm believing it's going to bounce off, or you can wait till it actually bounces off of VWAP. And then you can say when bounces being, or rejects off of VWAP, bounces kind of feels like it's going up,
Okay.
rejects all VWAP, and then you can get better premiums. So you can pick a different, strike on the option chain. So get closer or whatever. If you look at the chart and you feel confident that it's going to continue in the direction that you want it to go. I don't want you to be getting reckless or sassy, as you say. I don't want you to be getting sassy with it if you're not sure if it's going to reverse and come back and get you, if it's going to come back to your strike. You want to be sassy, but you want to be sassy with wisdom. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you want to be sassy with wisdom. You want to say, okay, I want these strikes. I got strikes I want, and I want $1. But if 75.80 is a strike I really want, and I really want $1, then just put your dollar in there and try to wait for it if you can. That's the hardest part too. Because if the
Hmm.
price is going on and you're like, it's left without me, no. That's hard to do sometime too. But if the price reverses like it did, like right up in here, sometimes the price will reverse and then it'll give you that dollar.
Okay. Okay.
So my short answer is be sassy with wisdom, okay?
Okay.
And secondly, if you feel like it's going to continue in the direction that it's going, like if you see it's breaking out comfortably into like a breakout, and you feel like it's going to keep, like this was a pretty good breakout, and you feel like it's going to keep going, then get you a strike that you can kind of breach in a little bit, because you're like,
Mhm.
I feel like it's going to keep going. So get you a closer strike with the thought that it will continue to go enough to get you, you just need enough momentum to
Mhm.
get you your 35 or 40 or $50. That's what you're looking for. You're just going to take your $50 and run. You're not trying to stay here all day,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So those are your
Okay.
So
that's your
I,
situation.
I have a
Okay.
question to
Thank
TJ,
you.
right? I mean, so TJ, when you say you want more premium, I'm trying to understand why. I mean, like what difference does it make? Because your trades, as far as I've seen, you get out with $35 or $40, right? So
Mhm.
getting in at 90 and getting out at 50 is the same as getting in at 70 and getting out at 30, right? So well, like so the one scenario where, so in my case, I mean, I'm just, so if you're letting it expire, it's a different story, because then you're targeting
Getting
100%
more
premium,
money.
right? You
Right.
want to get $1, yes, then two contracts, it's $200. So that's a different scenario. But where I would place a trade asking for more premium than what I see is, if I don't want to enter it at that point, but I want to enter when it drops or moves, because I know there is a reversal point coming, but it is still not there yet,
Right.
right? So then
Mm.
if it is at 70 per 70 is like zero point 0.7, then I would say, okay, I would put zero point 0.8 or 0.85, and then because I know it still has to go a little bit in the direction and then reverse, so
Yeah,
I would
likely.
wait to get a higher premium. But I'm just trying to understand if that is not the case, because if you're just targeting 10 cents more just for the sake of asking more, I don't understand the meaning or purpose behind it. That's why.
No, that's a great question, BK. That's a great question. And let me tell you why. I am always on defense. So what if I lose, BK? If I lose, okay, it's less of a loss with that dollar, right? Because now my max loss is 400 than 425 and 430. But I understand where you're coming from. It just, for me, I was like, okay, my loss, I'm always thinking if I lose, that loss won't be so bad, BK. Does that make, it's the
Okay,
losing
but
part. I'm on
but
the opposite. Mhm.
Yeah.
but if you are trying to get a closer strike for higher premium, then you're putting yourself, the probability of
At
you
risk.
losing more increases, right? So you want to be away, more away, right? I mean, so that's why I'm trying to understand. Like you can get more premium, you can get $1.25, $1.50, as you get closer, but the as you get closer, you are risking more.
Mhm.
right?
True. Yes. No. And you're right. You're right. So VK, like I said, this is double-edged sword. It's that
Yeah.
loss, and then also remember, my if I'm already in and I'm only looking for 35 or 40, I'm only waiting for price to hit 440, 450. If I got in at 70 or 80, price needs to be 465, 475. And to me, VK, that's a long, I'm waiting for that 480, 85, and price is moving and it just take too long. And I don't, maybe it's the patience. Maybe you checking me, VK. You speaking into my spirit. I just
But
think maybe I'm not patient. Maybe that's
no. I just I
yeah.
just think it is going to go there. See, everything depends on the price action, right? So I mean, you don't know, I don't know what is going to happen, right? So I mean, but
Right.
we just look at the chart and we are thinking, okay, this is a level where it will reverse and it's going to go that way. So let's go take a PCS or a CCS, something like that, or your orb strategy. Okay, it's breaking down. Let's take a CCS. So
Mhm.
I think I mean, for people who are getting off and I mean getting in and out for 35-40 dollars, I don't think it really matters whether what you get in at. So
Mhm.
if you're planning to hold till expiry, get
Mhm.
100% of the profit there, yes, then it matters.
Mhm.
You want to look at the premiums. I
Mhm.
mean, at
Okay.
least that's what I feel. Maybe I'm wrong. If somebody has different
Yeah.
opinions, please let me know.
I feel
Thank
like
you, VK.
85, 90, 85, 80, between 80 and 90, somewhere in there is like the sweet spot. Somewhere between 85, 90, somewhere in there. You've seen me take $50. So because I've gotten far enough away, I've taken $50 before and been far enough away and then felt like if it comes a little closer, maybe I'll add another contract or so at 70 or 80 and stuff like that. I've done that too. And I've also done that and had it come and grab those same strikes and run through. So I've been bitten by that too. So yeah, credit spreads are what they are. Miss Marsha, I still see you. TJ, did you want to add anything else?
No, that was perfect. I appreciate the dialogue, everybody.
Cool,
Thank y'all.
cool,
Thank you.
cool, cool. Miss Marsha, go ahead.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Um, I just wanted to talk about, I'm trying to refine my plan. And so now I've finally gotten to the point where I'm comfortable with 2 contracts rather than 1. Yay. Um, but it's still so stressful. So I said, well, I've heard people talking about just trading 3 days a week, 4 days a week. This week I traded just 4 days
Mm-hmm.
and I felt good.
Mm-hmm.
Not trading 5 days a week. So when it comes to now I'm trying to refine this plan, I think that I'm just going to do 4 days a week.
Okay.
And I just wanted to hear what everyone else was doing. Are you guys still doing 5 days a week? Um, I guess I just want to hear what other people are doing. 3 days a week. Okay.
Mm-hmm. TJ
Okay.
says 3. I'm
Yeah.
actually
And
going to have to, moving forward on Monday and Wednesday, I'm not going to be able to trade. Well, I won't be able to trade the afternoon or power hour because I'm actually teaching from 3 to 4:15. I'm
mm,
actively teaching in power hour. So I won't be able to trade um my normal afternoon like I know because I won't be able to manage that trade from power hour. So I'm actually thinking Val says 3, Will says about average of 3, trying not to overtrade. So it sounds like this is something that's a trend.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because this 5 days a week was just
It was putting it
stress.
on you, huh?
Yeah. It was. So yeah. Okay. Just wanted to get some feedback. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
sounds
think
like
that's
it.
the way I'm going to be going. Okay.
Julie said last week was the first week I didn't trade all 5 days. It's so much easier to trade on days where you feel like you understand the market. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Thanks for the
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's go look at the charts. See what we got here. Come, where'd my mouse go? Oh, there you are. Okay, let's see what we got. Miss Melba says it isn't possible for me to trade 5 days a week. I only trade 2 to 3 days, which is better than no days. Yep. And max contracts is about 2. That's a good thing. I think when you, I do find that when I trade more contracts, I'm more apt to get out quicker. I'm more apt to exit with, with a PDT hack at a lower. I feel like if I only have 1 or 2 contracts, I'm less, I feel like I stay longer. Sometimes stay longer than I should because I'm like, well, I just want to go ahead and get, some more. But if I have more contracts, I feel like I'm willing to leave. I'm like, okay, I'm good to go because I've gotten the dollar amount I'm looking for. Okay, so that for me, I think the two contracts or 3, whichever number you're doing, when you start to add on, I think it will sometimes make it more um make you want to go ahead and go. But also, I want you to always be looking too at what percentage you're taking in. If you're trading with $500 and you take in 50 and you keep 50, that's a 10% return that day. That's a good return for that day. If you keep $50 on a $500 of collateral, that's good returns. $75 is 15% returns. That's good returns for the day. All right. Don't feel like I only got $50. That's good money for the day. Some people don't get 10% all month, all year in their money. That's really good returns. Okay. Let's look. Okay, so we're on the weekly chart. Looking at SPX on the weekly chart, I'm going to put in our weekly high. Where's my weekly high? Got a weekly high here. I'm on the weekly. How did that get moved? It must have got moved some other way. Okay, so let me clone that. The weekly high moves to 64. Looks like 64. Oh, weekly high. Nope, higher. Let me move this lower because I don't want that. The weekly high of last week was 64.81 was the high. 64.81 was the high of last week. 64.81.34.
Coach, where is she going? Where is she going?
Right. As you sound like Tanya. Where we going?
Yeah.
Where we going? 6,500 at this point looks like. Gonna try. So 64.81 was the high last week, right? And the low of last week, where's my weekly low? Weekly low, there it
Hey,
is, a weekly low. Yep.
listen, can I say this about where we going? I
Yeah.
I had to reflect because I have taken a few losses back to back.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, we just been going up and up. So
Yeah.
I feel like I have put myself in front of the train doing credit spreads, the call
Mm-hmm.
credit spreads.
Mm-hmm.
And I am trading with a smaller account and I'm
Mm-hmm.
on Robinhood, so not doing the PDT hack currently. But until I get my Think or Swim funded for the
Mm-hmm.
to do the PDT hack,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm not sure about
Call
the
credit spread.
iron condor.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And
About
I
iron
guess
condor.
I'm struggling with that
Yeah.
part. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's safer to stick with the vertical,
Mm-hmm.
but when is it okay to do an iron condor?
True, that's a good question. And not just that, when is it okay to do? Because just because you honest you because I've processed this by the way, and I know you probably know this, but you can't automatically say that a put credit spread is the only thing to do because this is a week. It's been a couple weeks now, the end of July. This is a red week. So this
Right,
particular week would have been, if you did a put credit spread this week, you would have gotten breached. So the
right.
last 2 weeks have been put credit spread weeks, but you can't, if you're doing day to day, which we've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
almost according to what Adam has said, almost every dip has been bought up. But when we look at the days, even there's been some red days. They're not significant
Yes,
red, so there have been
there have.
some. But I think, to your point, I believe doing just put credit spreads, while we keep going up, is a very safe place, very
Yes,
safe thing. To just do the one side. And I thought
right.
we had a time when I really thought we were getting ready to turn back, which we kind of did back
Oh, when it
here
was good, it
on,
was good.
right, July 31st. We did pull back. July 30, after
Hmm.
this, we pulled back. It pulled back and but as soon as it pulled back, though, it pulled back and ran right back through that gap and said, "We still
Right,
going up, baby." All we did was just come get some gas.
right,
So, but again, to your point, I feel like as long as because you looking at our VWAP, we're still above VWAP. And if we look at VWAP on the month, if we look at VWAP on the monthly session, we'll see that we're still above VWAP on the month. So if you want to look, anybody, this is a very good question, Tanya, that we're still above VWAP on the monthly. So as long as we're staying above VWAP, the buyers are in control. So now what you'll run into though is on a day-to-day basis, how low do you go in order to continue to get premiums that you're okay with?
right. And that was the other thing. Like, I find myself waiting to make sure it's not going to turn around and reverse on me.
Mhm.
And then by that time, the premiums are gone. And it's like, well, there's no point in me getting in for $10. What's the point of that?
Right, right.
Um,
This is true. True, true.
and then you turn around and best times did work with Magic 8 Ball. And I'm like, too hard about it.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple things, because I and I'm thinking you're bringing up the Iron Condor because on Friday I did, at the end of the day, provide that one DTE with the Iron Condor piece of it, because I um I don't know, it's yeah. Now if
No,
we're
it
doing,
wasn't. It's not that. When I go back and look at my trades, the
yeah,
vertical was good, but
mm-hmm,
it was when I got on the other side and
other
like, oh,
side, yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's where I shot myself,
yeah,
was with
yeah.
the iron condor. And
What I have found too is that when on the day that I got gone through on the Iron Condor on the top side, is when I got into it on too early in the day. Can you see the time of day? Because
yes,
on the times
um,
that my call credit spreads got breached is when I got into them in the morning instead of the afternoon.
yeah. So, so well, I guess I'll look at that. Like, my plan was to stick with the vertical for a while,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
maybe I'll start looking at the other side in the afternoon.
Hmm.
But if you wait too late, it's no premiums. But
This is the thing though, that if you're doing, let's say you're following the vertical and you get that money and you wait, let's say you collected $70 or something like that on one side. If in the afternoon you collect 30 on the other side, that's going on top of what you already got. So it's not like a standalone trade. That's the
right,
way I look at it. That it's not standing
right,
by itself.
you're
That
right.
it's really I'm adding this to what I already got. So I'm okay to maybe take a little bit less because, or so I'm okay to take less money because I'm putting it with what I already took.
Okay,
But you don't want to get breached because then that would be bad. You're like, I got in this I could have just kept my 70. I jumped in
right.
here and got this extra money and then it got breached. This was not the plan.
I could go and estimate, but more than 50%, I believe, of the losses were from getting in on the other side, and that
Yeah.
side,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yep. I totally get it. And if that's what's showing in your trading plan, that's what your journal is showing,
yes,
then for the time being, that's one of the reasons why I left the one DTEs off, because when I went and looking back at my journal, it showed that one DTE was where I was getting the one DTEs was eating my lunch. I'm like, well, I'm making good money on these zero DTEs and the one DTEs is eating up the profits.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, so that's a very good point. So in the meantime, while we're in this trending area, let's just stick with one side. If that's where you're more comfortable, stick with the one side.
Yeah, I think
Definitely
I'm
do
gonna
what
do
you
that for right now.
yeah, go with what your trading plan and what you can see. You've been trained along the way. Go with what's working for you, and what's not working, we cut it off. We don't stay married to bad trades or bad choices. Okay. I was just showing VWAP. This is VWAP anchored on the month, and you see that we're definitely above VWAP. Price will try to pull back to VWAP, so you got to keep that in mind. I won't say try to pull back, but it does like to revert to the mean. So you got to keep that in mind when if you're selecting for longer periods of time. Just know that the price could potentially try to revert. But this is 63.71. But if you're going out several days, 63.71. There's probably money down there. If you're going from a Monday to a Friday, there's probably money at 63.70. Okay. So I'm on the daily chart now. Let's look to see. Okay, I put the weekly high and the weekly low on. I gotta look in here. There's some price action inside this big candle. We gotta go because we gotta see this big gap between here. There's definitely some support and resistances in this area that we don't have marked. Weekly high, we got a previous day high, opening range high. That's some stuff up in here. Okay, let's see if we can go to a smaller time frame and see if we see some supports and resistances. Let's change to the line chart so we can see. Now, each day, every afternoon or evening or in the morning before you start to trade, you should update your SPX chart before you start trading. Especially if you're trading, and we are trading every day on SPX, you need to have an updated chart as best as you can. And Adam gives us really good numbers. So you can honestly Adam can kind of be your numbers because he really gives good numbers. I just put one at 64.49 is a support area. 64.58 is a support area. See where the peaks and the valleys are? It's right around that area. Just know that anytime you put a line on, you're putting it in the general vicinity. Just know that there's something in this area. It may not be a hard line, but there's something here. And 64.64. Okay, 64.64. Adam's number was 64.66. I left it there. And he also had 64.55 and 64.47. When I call out those numbers and I put them in our thingy, I take those and I translate those to my chart. When I give those numbers in the morning, I put those on my chart. And you can literally put them on, like you see over here, Adam's numbers. You could do that as well. Let's see.
So do you
There was
take them off
something
or you
inside
leave them
that
there?
week. I usually leave them because those zones don't really, I won't say they don't die, but they don't die. So that's why you'll see so many lines on my chart. I just leave them there. Sometimes it used to really bother me. I couldn't just leave them on, but now I know that a zone, it stays a zone. So I just leave it. Looks like 64.03 is also, that was in that long momentum. This was the long momentum candle was right in this area here. And there wasn't any slowdown, not on the 30-minute chart. 64.03, I did mark that. I'll go to a 15-minute chart and see if I see anything else in that area. I usually leave them there. It can make your chart get a little crowded. I'm not a fan of that, but yeah, there was a little bit of a pause in here. I wouldn't really call that much of a chair, but looks like 64.11, there was a little something or other where it tried to stop. Not really a great looking chair, but there's something in the 64.11 area. I probably will still mark it because there's too much momentum here for there to be nothing. I depend, as y'all know, pretty heavily on VWAP from day to day and those moving averages. VWAP and the moving averages will definitely provide your support, your resistance, and then some of these zones. But I look at all those areas together. Let me change this back to the week. Let's see where SPX is. SPX 500 running yet? Is it time? Oh yeah. Let me take us back to a regular chart. SPX is currently at 64.58. It closed at what? 64, 60, 64.49, something like that. So it's up currently about 8 or 9 points. Questions on the SPX chart? Bullish is when your moving averages are stacked up from lowest to highest, coming down from lowest to highest. Bearish is when they flip over and then they change places. Like you see here, this is the 15-minute chart. Let's go to the daily. On the daily chart, our moving averages are still fanned out. Let me turn off VWAP so we don't get the lines confused. Okay, this yeah, I know y'all can't hardly see the lines because there's a lot of red lines, but this is the 9 period, is this orange one. The blue, that might be the 20. No, the 20 is orange. The 50 is blue.
All those lines.
I know. I already know, child. I am ignoring them. The orange is the 20. The blue is the 50. The green is the 100. The point is that they're all fanned out on the daily chart. They're all fanned out, which means, and they're, stacked highest to lowest going up, which is bullish. Definitely still a bullish trend. That's on the daily chart. If we go down to, let's say, the hourly chart, I'm gonna stretch it out some so we can see still. Hourly chart, the black is the 200 period moving average. Green is the 100, blue is the 50. Orange is starting to trend. It's the 20 period moving average and it's starting to flatten out some. This is on the 1 hour chart. Orange is starting to flatten out. If we go down to, let's say, the 30-minute chart, the orange and the blue are starting to come together. Look like they're starting to come together. See, the orange is now started to turn downwards and the blue is still coming up. This is the 30-minute chart. 30-minute. This orange is the 15, it's a 20 moving average, and this is the 50. They're coming together now. Looking a little more neutralish on the 30-minute chart. And then the 15-minute chart, the orange and the blue are right next to each other and look like they're trying to cross on the 15-minute chart. Now, there are people who, trade crossovers as their entries. Once the 20 crosses the 50, that to them is a bearish signal to enter going downwards. Some people use that as one of their confluences. I don't think not anybody who's really smart, trades it as their only entry point. That can be one thing that you can use as an entry point. But that's on the 15-minute chart, which we trade off the 15-minute. So for us, that would be something we would potentially look at as a potentially bullish signal. With the support of, that's the 20 and the 50, with the support of the 100 coming up, and the 100 is going to play support. So 64.45 would play support, while 64.55 is going to play resistance. So what could possibly happen is price could then get trapped in between these two areas because it's in between two sets of moving averages. On the 15-minute chart. And then it has to spend a little time before it can break out, get enough strength, which is where you hear Adam saying stuff like SPX is coiling really tight, where it's getting tighter and tighter that way. So when it breaks out, it's kind of explosive. It's just, you just never know when it breaks out, what's it going to break out and do? Which way we going? We don't know which way it's going. Okay, questions? All righty, let me see. I see a question. I think, is it possible for me to trade? Okay, 8-1 was a dump, very bearish that day. Yeah, very. And we got chewed up. I did. I took a loss on 8-1. Did. Started the month off wrong. Okay, so I sent the email out about E2T University. It's gonna open up. It's gonna open up tomorrow. Tomorrow. I sent y'all an email, and the email talked about